Did you know that Centaurs have 2 USB ports in the back door? That's right, today we're talking about the mating manual Centaur entry, and we just finalized the reproductive system for the Centaur, so stick around and I'm going to teach you how to have a Centaur baby. And one of our Diamond subscribers has requested that their OC be the test sample for the Centaur race, so you will get a very close look at everything they have. So if you'd like to have an OC that's in the mating manual, grab a Diamond, or if you just want to support, grab a Ruby Gold. Now, to make our lives a little bit easier, we took a base skeleton that we found off the internet and decided this is going to be the skeletal structure of the Centaur, but we did need to move some organs around to accommodate for such a massive animal. But before we dive into the reproductive system, you need to understand the general anatomy, which we're going to touch on here. Centaurs have 2 hearts, one here, one here. Centaurs also have 2 brains, indicated by the black space. The normal human brain, which controls all the emotions, higher levels of thought, and also does everything that a human brain does. But along the spine here, where the human half meets a horse, it does actually have a secondary brain. And this brain is to help process all the movement for the horse component. And it does not have a second consciousness because it does not possess emotion regulation and all the things that we have for high levels of thought. The second brain is specifically for motion and basically keeping the 2 parts of the Centaur in sync with each other. And we basically hollowed out the bottom part of the human portion to make way for a massive stomach that is replacing the horse stomach, and all of this is basically just intestines that is going to basically be processed in the horse part. Now, whenever we talk about the reproductive system, a Centaur baby is a lot bigger than a horse. So we had to make a little bit of extra room and think about the reproductive process, about how it would actually develop. So I came up with a system called the BAVE, which is short in Centaur for baby cave. So what'll happen is a horse does have an anus. It has a vaginal cave for the horse and also one for the human. And some of you might be saying, wait, Dark, why are you saying horse and human now? Why are there 2 entry ports for that? And well, there's actually a special organ in the Centaur body located right in the back of both vaginas that combine, called the spokole. And the spokole combines both vaginas, basically separating it into 2 different pipelines where they go through timmies. And timmies are these little circular orbs at the crest of each of these pipes. And each timmy is responsible for a different stage of sperm preparation, from whether it's timmy 1, which is basically killing all non-viable sperm. So for example, if a dwarf was to mount up on a Centaur, timmy 1 would destroy the sperm because the sperm is not appropriate, because the stone skin disease would not be viable for the Centaur race. So Timmy 1 would get rid of it. So Timmy 2 will basically coat them all in a reactive material to let Timmy 3 know if they are basically damaged sperm. If so, Timmy 3 will kill them. Timmy 4 is responsible for coating the sperm in wild DNA. Timmy 5 is responsible for checking viability of wild sperm. Timmy 6 is responsible for basically destroying any bad sperm that is coated with wild DNA. And then we get to Timmy H7 and H8, which is responsible for the treatment of horse and Centaur sperm. And once the sperm type has been identified as either horse, Centaur, or human sperm, the eggs will now begin to develop into an appropriate egg type for them. And then whenever the sperm make it to the last part, the eggs will all basically shoot out. There's only one viable egg here. The rest are false eggs. Once the egg has been fertilized, then it will basically go into the next section, which is called the BAVES. And so the fertilized egg and fetus will spend about 4 months in each section of the BAVE. And once the baby makes it to the last BAVE, the mother will have to kind of take an educated guess on when the baby's done cooking in the oven. She'll open her pouch, which Centaurs have, and pull the baby out. And so if you haven't figured it out yet, Centaurs are capable of giving birth to either a horse, a Centaur, or a human. If they want to give birth to a horse or Centaur, they'll use the horse entrance. But if they want to give birth to a human, they'll use the human entrance. If you happen to put your schlong in the wrong one, you can end up seriously damaging the female's reproductive organs, or you, in the human's case, going into the horse entrance, will just have your sperm killed because it's not an appropriate sperm for that port. And all this material is going to be available in the mating manual, which you can see the production by grabbing a Ruby Gold or Diamond. And remember, all this lore comes from the world where my mangas, The Night of Slaughter, Devil's Deal, and Deep Stalker Crow take place in.